Dan and Linda Kiely, how are you?
We're great, Jonathan. Thank you very much. Great to see you again.
It's good to see you as well. Linda, I spoke with you recently on the Red Business podcast. The things you said about Dan, I don't know how you're still talking to each other. It's been a manic few weeks for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Talk me through how they've been for you. First of all, Dan.
It's been a bit surreal, to be perfectly honest, Jonathan, because we closed our deal on the 16th of August, and I spent pretty much a whole month traveling across the US and San Francisco, New York, LA, and so I haven't had really time to reflect on it, but obviously we were both very excited about the future and what it brings for all the Voxpronians and for Cork as well.
And what is so great about the Voxpro story, and this has been written about so much, is that this was your baby. This was a native company that grew and grew to the point at which you were able to sell it, but still keep an involvement. Linda, tell me a little bit about how Voxpro came about. I mean, that big jump you made years ago when you were both, I think you were both working in the Examiner at that stage.
You were just called, are you talking about my lunatic?
Yes, well, well, there was a lot of running around, I believe.
In 1995, I remortgaged my home when the rate was 18% on the loan. And that started the company, and we started over Marlborough Street in a pub with 6 people. Happy days, I can tell you. No stress, just go down and get a drink.
Proximity was helpful.
Trust me, there's no downside starting a business over a pub for obvious reasons. But,
and
I recommend
that
it.
business was, it was arguably a dying business. You'd taken on a pager company in '95 when pagers were about to become obsolete.
Everyone that we approached in terms of lawyers, accountants, banks, thought we were absolutely crazy to get involved in a business like this because of the mobile phones were just about to become the next thing. So, but Linda and I always believed that the business could scale because of the client base that was initially there, you know.
And that was it. You had a list, didn't you? And the list, you bought a list. You didn't buy a company. Yeah. Right. And how did you use that?
Well, we utilised it to change. First of all, we changed the paging into SMS, and we kept evolving, with all the new tech. So we held on to quite a few of them, and in the midst of that, then there were so many unicorns that we grew. Some now would remain at 6 for years or very nicely, but we had a client base that was absolutely extraordinary, and PageBoy was founded in 1973. So there's actually a huge loyalty to it, because the people that say all the doctors and emergency people, their kids automatically came no matter what they were doing. So it had its own niche.
You had a loyal client base.
Very loyal. And
how did you then work out, well, there's something more to this. I mean, this new technology that made pagers obsolete, there's an opportunity for us here.
Yeah, I think the pivotal moment for us, without any shadow of a doubt, was when the global recession happened, and everybody were downsizing, they were cutting, irrespective of whether it made sense or not. Banks were closed for credit, so we decided to focus on global companies that were pretty much immune to the global recession, such as Google, and we won a pilot with Google.
But hold on a second now. Here you were, little Cork company, with a list of people that you wanted to work with. Who were you to be ringing Google and telling them that you could work with them?
Well, look, I believe that one of the biggest catalysts for our success, without any shadow of a doubt, has been our ability to manage relationships. And to any business out there, I would say managing relationships is the key thing. And so I had built up quite a number of very good relationships within the Google organisation in Cork, or in Dublin, sorry. And we went and approached them to give us a pilot because we knew they needed support around their Google for Enterprise, as it was known then, and they gave us the pilot, and we literally threw everything we had at the pilot, and it started up with 6 people and then quickly grew to close to 300 people within 18 months. So that was the game changer for us, for sure.
But it was a difficult road, Linda, because as you said, it was in the middle of a recession.
Yeah.
There were huge challenges in buying anything. I mean, who was going to give you money? How were you going to fund 180 people that were coming through the door and needed support. I mean, it was a very challenging time.
It was extremely challenging. I would have to say like that. You know, it was great to get them, but to go and find the money as fast as you needed to do the setup was an absolutely extraordinary achievement for us. You know, the kids' grandmother died. I took the cheques, you know, and borrowed the money from them, and then I tripled that. I went to the credit union.
An aunt of mine gave me all her life savings, which was €9,000, and I just think that this is really kind of a testament to Linda's self-belief, and that failure was never going to be an option for us. So we literally were there one Friday, and we had to come up with 75 grand by the following Wednesday. We were out of business, and
so real down to the wire.
Yeah,
that self-belief. When did you first see that?
You know, I first saw it when we were sitting in our kitchen on that Friday afternoon with a bottle of wine, or maybe two, and I said to Linda, "Where are we going to get this money?" And she said, "Don't panic, we'll get it." And so that was, and we got it.
You convinced him? Were you internally? Were you concerned that you wouldn't get it?
I'm kind of a bit of a Houdini about money.
Stemming back to your time of selling ads for the Examiner.
People trust me.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's all about trust. So I never borrowed from friends or anything. Like, I just made the money that I had work in every way I could. I also cashed in everything I had.
She did.
You know.
All because of belief.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously it's been borne out. Voxpro. When was Voxpro born? The brand Voxpro.
The brand was born when the word or the brand Page Boy became an inhibitor to growing the business. So we decided to we had to rebrand, and so through a process of elimination, we came up with, after months of painstaking, and we came up with Voxpro. And I believe that it has transcended and it will transcend into the next decade. And so we were very happy with the choice.
And the decision to sell the company, because you guys had invested so much in it, and Linda, you talked about the belief that you had, the passion. Dan, you were running around the world dealing with this. This was like a child that you had grown and nurtured. Selling it isn't as simple as getting the money. Selling it means you have to do something that it's going to do better.
Well, look, I suppose to the reality of the acquisition is that we only sold 55%, so we still retain 45% of the business, and we chose our partner very carefully. So we wanted someone to work with us that would absolutely get what our brand, get what we've achieved, and but would also have a balance sheet to be able to support our plan for huge growth in China, huge growth in Europe. We'll grow here in Cork, we'll grow our footprint in Dublin, but it was very difficult to sustain that type of growth organically, and we reached a point where we said, okay, we need to do a number of sites in China next year, we need to do Latin America, we need to do, and to fund that realistically, organically, is really difficult.
Yeah, you needed the extra support.
Absolutely.
But was it hard though? Was it hard to make that decision?
Very hard.
Yeah.
I'd say we still don't actually believe it in a way.
Well, the reality is, I have a boss for the first time in 22 years. I know.
No, hang on a second. You always had a boss.
Absolutely, concur with that completely. I have two bosses now. Sorry, one by day and one by night. So that's going to be a really interesting experience for me. I'm part of a global leadership team of a company that is of a $2 billion company, and so I'm really looking forward to that challenge, and also to scaling the company to where it can become supported by TA.
Life is funny because life sometimes puts you together with people who, had you not met, your lives would have been very different. And I look at the relationship, the dynamic between the two of you, and it works on all the different levels. It works on the personal level, it works on the professional level, it works on the business level.
You'd want to be a fly in the wall?
I'm trying to build it up nicely. But how did you get so lucky that you found each other, not just partners in life, but business partners like that? It's rather rare, Linda.
It's just very rare. I suppose he got very lucky.
I wouldn't dispute that.
I had the experience.
Yeah. I've always said, if Linda and I could not have achieved what we've achieved as individuals, I think the sum of the two parts, because we're very different people and we bring very different skill sets to the table, and the fact we are so different, we complement each other. And I think in any business you need diversity. And
your roles have changed, haven't they? I mean, you've almost had a reversal, haven't you, Linda?
Oh, completely. I didn't go forward at all as an exec because it is very different travelling for yourself. But like, I wouldn't be physically able now to be travelling weekly to some different part.
Like, it has changed. I mean, the dynamic. You're doing the travelling more.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, because of the global footprint of the company and our very ambitious growth plans, that means that I'm on planes quite a lot, and I'm in the States. I'm going to be travelling to Latin America, China, and so. But it's I mean, I enjoy it. I like the change of scene. So I don't think it would be very difficult for me to remain in one place at this point in time.
The fact that you built the company out of Cork, how important is that to you?
Oh, huge.
Yeah, because I mean, I was talking to Dan and Peter from Teamwork, and they were in that middle generation whereby, you know, there was immigration on either side. You've seen more than that. Yeah. You know, you remember the 80s and the impact it had on that generation. That you created jobs in Cork, that you are continuing to create jobs in Cork. I mean, to you as business people, as Cork people, what does that mean?
That's our finest moment, I would think. You know, to create jobs in our own hometown. Absolutely
agree. I remember a number of years ago that we won Cork Chamber, Cork Company of the Year, and there's nothing ever will top that. For us as very pro Cork people, to win, to be, you know, acknowledged among your own peers was just the most, like, amazing experience. So I think that Cork will always be our HQ, and like, we're going to continue to create more employment here over the coming years, and like, we're very proud to be able to do it.
Final question to both of you, and I'll ask you, Linda, first. What is the advice you would give to somebody now who is a student who thinks they have an idea, or who sees the next opportunity and has an eye on being Voxpro, the next Voxpro? What do you say to them, having been on that journey?
The kids now have phenomenal ideas, but I think they're quite slow to put the hard graft in. So I would say get down to grassroots and start. If you want to have your own business, you do it all, from making the tea to innovating to cleaning up the place, the lot, and as well as your ideas.
And work hard.
Work very hard. Yeah.
Dan?
I think that, you know, I mean, the phrase that comes to mind for me is never ever give up. And I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he had a business idea. It failed, and he was resigned to working in a 9-to-5 job for forever. And I'm like, why would you give up on the first attempt? Like, try again and try again and try again. I think and that the self-belief that, you know, failure is not an option. And by the way, if you fail, try again.
Keep at it. Well, you kept at it.
Well, you know, we nearly went down the tube so many times. Like, you know, just coming up for air. Well, people only see what they see, and that's a good thing. But I think everybody struggles, you know, when they're an entrepreneur, for sure. And I think they're a fairly special breed, because people kind of say, God, is this great now? But like, they don't really know all the hardship and risk you've taken and hairy moments, you know. So I think we certainly need to be made of fairly strong stuff.
Well, there'll be a lot of strong stuff out there to come. We know that, based on everything. And you have set the groundwork and set the standard, more importantly. Dan and Linda Kiely of Voxpro, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks very much, John.